आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for the debate.
On the show tonight, the Bangladesh border conspiracy. We question why the Bengal government is not keen on fencing in the border. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, the big infiltration threat that has been given by the Home Minister and Assam Chief Minister, and why it is time to act on it. At 9 p.m., Niranjan and Abhishek debate how 76 lakh rupees was given for Minister Azharuddin's Telangana house repair work. At 9:30 this evening, the raging debate over passenger safety and how there are massive contradictions. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. India's border fencing program is neither new nor selective. It's a long-standing national security measure aimed at preventing infiltration, smuggling, as well as cross-border crime. And the data on this is absolutely unambiguous. Now, according to the information placed before the Lok Sabha by the Ministry of Home Affairs, India has physically fenced over 93% of the India-Pakistan international border. Of the total 2,289 kilometers, fencing has been completed along 2,135 kilometers, covering 93% of the border. On the eastern front, nearly 79% of the Indo-Bangladesh border has also been fenced. The work has been carried out across multiple states and under different state governments, cutting across political lines. Border fencing, therefore, is a national policy, not a state-specific or politically driven initiative. This makes developments in West Bengal particularly significant. The Calcutta High Court directed the West Bengal government to hand over land already acquired for border fencing to the Border Security Force by 31st of March. The court was hearing a public interest litigation that highlighted a rise in infiltration in unfenced areas along the Indo-Bangladesh border. Now, the state government's position before the court has been that fencing work has been delayed because local residents are unwilling to part with their land. Now, Republic's ground reporting from border districts, however, presents a very different picture. Residents and farmers in areas such as Jaudanga as well as Jodhpur, Moza say land measurements were conducted years ago. Crops were damaged during surveys, but the land was never formally acquired. As a result, fencing has not progressed. Locals say they continue to face theft of crops and movement across the border at night due to the absence of fencing. Several residents have stated on record that they are willing to give their land if the acquisition process is completed, a compensation is paid, citing national security and personal safety as their priorities. Now, fencing already completed along most of India's borders with Pakistan and Bangladesh. The question is that now that arises is absolutely straightforward. If border fencing is being implemented across other border states, why has the process been stalled in West Bengal? The Trinamool Congress maintains that the responsibility lies with the Union Home Ministry and the BSF. The BJP alleges deliberate delay by the state government. What is now on record is a court directive, parliamentary data, and testimonies from residents living along the border. At this stage, the issue moves beyond political statements. It concerns border management, infiltration risks, and compliance with the judicial border. And with the High Court's deadline in place, the focus now shifts to whether the state government will act within the time frame that has been laid down by the court. Ladies and gentlemen, this question is not about one particular state. It is about our national security. It is about national policy.
Amid dense forests with national security threat looming over, large stretches of the Indo-Bangladesh border in West Bengal remains unfenced. A conduit for illegal infiltration, smuggling of drugs, fake currency, cattle and gold. A demographic bomb ticking, waiting to explode. But Mamata Banerjee government continues to sit on the land, obstructing the fencing process.
মালদার ভারত বাংলাদেশ সীমান্ত হবিবপুর ব্লকের এই তিলাসনের জোত কবির এলাকা, এই এলাকায় এখনো পর্যন্ত অধিকাংশ এলাকাতেই কাঁটাতার নেই। যেমন যেটা আমরা বিএসএফ সূত্রে জানতে পারছি, মালদার যে ভারত বাংলাদেশ সীমান্ত 172 কিলোমিটার, এই 72 কিলোমিটার সীমান্তের মধ্যে নদী, পাশাপাশি নদীর জলপথ এবং পাশাপাশি হচ্ছে সীমান্তবর্তী স্থলপথ সব মিলে প্রায় এখনো পর্যন্ত 38 কিলোমিটার এলাকায় কাঁটাতার নেই। এবং এখানে যেটা সব থেকে বড় যে সমস্যা, রীতিমতো যারা কৃষকদের জমি রীতিমতো তারা সরকারকে দেওয়ার জন্য তারা প্রস্তুত, দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য কৃষকরা জমি দিতে চাচ্ছে, কিন্তু এখনো পর্যন্ত কৃষকদের যেটা অভিযোগ যে প্রায় 2 বছর হতে চললো মাপজোপ করা হচ্ছে কিন্তু কৃষকদের কাছ থেকে জমি নিচ্ছে না।
BJP says Mamata government is not ready to hand over land to shield infiltrators.
कोई राज्य सरकार ऐसी हो सकती है जो घुसपैठियों की पनाहगाह अपने राज्य को बना दे? राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा पर एक कितना बड़ा खतरा है, इसका जवाब बंगाल की मुख्यमंत्री ने बंगाल के चुनाव में दे।
Republic Bangla is at the India-Bangladesh border. They have a different version. Locals say measurements now done. The land lays barren as West Bengal government does not seem willing to move with the accusation.
এই দুটো মৌজা এখনো ফেন্সিংটা দেওয়া যায়নি কেন? এটা কি শুধুই বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না তার জন্য, নাকি এটা কোথাও চাপিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না?
বাসিন্দারা 200 ভাগ চাচ্ছে যে যত দ্রুত ফেন্সিং এর কাজটা সম্পন্ন হয়। কি কারণে আটকে আছে আমার ধারণা মতো বললে তো হবে না। ঘটনা হচ্ছে, আমি বলবো প্রথমত জমি অধিগ্রহণের অনিচ্ছা আমরা বুঝতে পেরেছি রাজ্য সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে। দীর্ঘদিন পড়ে আছে জমি অনিচ্ছা, আমরা প্রত্যেককে জমি দিতে চাই। বিজেপির ক্ষেত্রে জমি দেবে না এমন বিজয়পুর বা এই 2 মৌজাতে অবস্থিত যত জমির মালিক আছে প্রত্যেকেই মানে স্ব-আগ্রহে জমি দিতে চাই।
Locals say they are fighting against Mamata government to get the fencing done.
এই দুটো মৌজা এখনো ফেন্সিংটা দেওয়া যায়নি কেন? এটা কি শুধুই বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না তার জন্য, নাকি এটা কোথাও চাপিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না?
বাসিন্দারা 200 ভাগ চাচ্ছে যে যত দ্রুত ফেন্সিং এর কাজটা সম্পন্ন হয়। কি কারণে আটকে আছে আমার ধারণা মতো বললে তো হবে না। ঘটনা হচ্ছে, আমি বলবো প্রথমত জমি অধিগ্রহণের অনিচ্ছা আমরা বুঝতে পেরেছি রাজ্য সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে। দীর্ঘদিন পড়ে আছে জমি অনিচ্ছা, আমরা প্রত্যেককে জমি দিতে চাই। বিজেপির ক্ষেত্রে জমি দেবে না এমন বিজয়পুর বা এই 2 মৌজাতে অবস্থিত যত জমির মালিক আছে প্রত্যেকেই মানে স্ব-আগ্রহে জমি দিতে চাই। কিন্তু
Farmers in the region echo similar concerns. Speaking to Republic, they highlight atrocities committed by Bangladeshis across the border illegally.
কি চাচ্ছেন?
আমরা চাচ্ছি যে দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য জমি দিতে আমরা সকলেই প্রস্তুত, কারণ বাংলাদেশিরা এসে আমাদের জমি জায়গায় যে অত্যাচার রাত্রেবেলা করে, ধান কেটে নিয়ে যায়, আরও অন্যান্য ফসল শাকসবজি যেটা করি আমরা বর্ডার সাইডে সেটাও উঠিয়ে নিয়ে যায় ওরা, কিন্তু তার কাটা বেড়াটা হয়ে গেলে আমাদের সুরক্ষা হয়ে যাবে। আমরা চাচ্ছি প্রস্তুত।
Farmers say for them the safety of the nation comes first. The demand is clear: fencing on the border.
এলাকার নাম হচ্ছে জোতকবি মজা পড়ে। এটা আমার তো জোতকবিতে পারে না, সিঙ্গাবাদে পারি। আমার কিছুটা তার বেড়ার ভিতরে জমি পড়েছে, মাপজোক করেছে কিন্তু নিয়ে যাচ্ছে না, মাপজোক করে সবকিছু কাগজপত্র নিয়ে গেছে। কারণ হচ্ছে তার বেড়াটা হতে গেলে আমরা সুরক্ষিত থাকবো। আমরা তো সরকারকে জমি দিতে রাজি আছি, ন্যায্য দাম পেতে হলে দিতে আমাদের অসুবিধা নেই। হ্যাঁ, এই দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য আমরা কৃষকরা সবাই জমি দিতে প্রস্তুত। আমরা চাইছি যে জমিটা নিয়ে নে। কাটাটা না থাকতে সমস্যা বলতে কি, ধান চালের অবস্থা খারাপ হচ্ছে, মাঝে মধ্যে মাপতে আসছে, তোমাকে ধানের ক্ষতি করে দিয়েছে। ওদের কথা, ওরাও অত্যাচার করে না।
At the center of this problem lies the delay tactics deployed by Mamata Banerjee government not to acquire land meant for fencing. Farmers highlight the government continues to postpone taking measurements, thus delaying the acquisition.
তাহলে আমরা দিতে প্রস্তুত আছি। বারবার করে আসছে, মাপজোক করছে, এই সেই হচ্ছে, জমি নিচ্ছে না, আজকাল করে চলেই যাচ্ছে সময়। আমাদের জমি টমির ফসল হয়তো বাংলাদেশ থেকে আসে, অনেক সময় কেটে মেরে নিয়ে যায়। আমরা ধান মেরে রাস করে রেখে দিয়ে আসি, সে ধানগুলো নিয়ে পালিয়ে যায়। আমার মোটামুটি 1.5 বিঘা মতো। চাচ্ছি কাটাতার হোক, আমাদের জমির পরিবর্তে আমরা জমি অন্য জায়গায় কিনবো। সরকার ন্যায্য পয়সা দিলে কেন দেবো? দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য আমরা এটুকু করবো না, কি করবো? কাটাতার ওদেরই গাফিলতি, ওরা বারবার আসছে, মেপে যাচ্ছে, করছে, বলছে এই হয়ে যাবে।
But the court's message to Mamata government is clear. Hand over land to border security forces. No delay in matters of national security will be tolerated.
The High Court has come down heavily on the government, Mamata Banerjee's government, saying that this delay is unacceptable and also directed them to procure land and complete the process as soon as possible.
हाल ही में कोलकाता उच्च न्यायालय ने पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार को एक कड़ा निर्देश दिया कि सीमा सुरक्षा बल बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी फोर्स के द्वारा भारत बांग्लादेश सीमा पर, जिसमें तकरीबन 9 जिले पश्चिम बंगाल के आते हैं, वहां फेंसिंग के काम के लिए जो भूमि आवंटन की प्रक्रिया थी वो तत्काल करके 31 मार्च 2026 तक सूचित की जाए।
The TMC though remains defiant, saying it is Home Minister Amit Shah and BSF who are responsible for the fencing.
স্বরাষ্ট্রমন্ত্রী অমিত শাহ ইনি নিজে বিএসএফ এর মালিক হয়ে, বিএসএফ এর নিয়ন্ত্রক হয়ে কিভাবে অনুপ্রবেশ হচ্ছে বাংলায়, তার উত্তর তো ওনাকে দিতে হবে। নিজেরা অনুপ্রবেশ করিয়ে বাংলার মুখ্যমন্ত্রীকে ভারতবর্ষের রাজনৈতিক মানচিত্রে মেলাইন করার যে চক্রান্ত ওনারা করতে চাইছেন, বাংলার মানুষ 26-এ তার মুখে ঝামা বসে এটার প্রমাণ করবে।
But with the court's order now coming in, Mamata government can no longer continue to put national security on the backseat.
Tausif, but the other states have already been able to do this, perhaps hand over for the border fencing. Why is it that the government of West Bengal does not see this as a national security issue, and by simply saying that this is a matter that should be handled by the Union Home Ministry, today the court has very clearly stated that you need to hand over the land immediately?
You see, this is not a question of whether how government of West Bengal looks at this Indo-border issue. It is the BJP who sees this as a political opportunity. It is not West Bengal alone who shares border with Bangladesh. There are so many other states, 6 states, allow me to name them.
I just put out data for you just at the beginning of this debate by showing why it is West Bengal the only state that is basically lagging behind when it comes to border fencing. Do not bring in local issues here by saying that, listen, we cannot hand over the land because there is SIR that is basically underway. How is that even linked?
I'm not even going into the defense of why the land cannot be handed over. It's a procedure that has to be followed. But the duty does not lie with the state government. The duty to seal the border is with the BSF. If there is no border fencing in Bengal, then there is no...
You heard the testimonies. Now, Tausif, the thing is that, Tausif, there is a responsibility of the state government too. The unwillingness that the state government has essentially shown here. Now, you've heard all the testimonies. Now, you can't possibly say that we have faked the testimonies here. Each of these testimonies basically indicates towards a pattern. The pattern essentially being that the process has not been completed, the acquisition process has been completely undermined. This has been perhaps even highlighted by the High Court.
Now, yes, there's no denial that High Court the matter has gone to the High Court. High Court has made an observation. But kindly bear with me, and kindly give me uninterrupted 1 minute. You see, Assam has 856 kilometers of border. Mizoram has 443. Meghalaya has even 2,217 kilometers. The total, the 4,096 kilometers of border shared by so many states, not West Bengal alone. And let me give you an example from Assam, Government of Assam website, Border Protection and Development. They have admitted that only 201 kilometers of border has physical barrier. Balance 61 kilometers does not have any kind of barrier. They are working on it.
And what about the data?
Assam government says
you rattled out the... You rattled out every other...
First of all, the responsibility is not with the state government, it is the border security force.
Priyanka, now
reporting to Amit Shah.
Now, very conveniently, I'll give you the time here, Tausif. Right. Why don't you also look at, since you rattled out the data as far as the other states are concerned, fair enough, I'm not saying there is a complete fencing that has been done. You also do a straight comparison between the other states versus West Bengal. And then you come back and tell me that is it really fair? Is it really fair, the comparison that you're basically drawing up, and why it is factually incorrect when you say that how the state government has also been dragging its feet when it comes to the land acquisition process? I'll help you. I have the data. If you can't find it, I will help you, but I'll give you a couple of minutes till the time Priyanka responds to what you are saying.
Hi, very good evening. So it is not that he is not aware of the data. He knows everything, but somehow he has to shout and scream and say that everything is correct with the TMC government. So he's placing his points like this. See, whether this is defiance, whether this is complete illiteracy, whether this is non-compliance, or whether this is readiness to compromise with the national security. Now, this is the concern. What TMC is doing here, it is very, very clear that it is ready to sacrifice the national security because of a particular community's vote bank, which in the form of illegal immigrants have entered Bengal, and they want to continue with the process. Today, the malicious, fallacious campaign which was being run by the TMC, they have the court has come upon them very strongly when they have said that it is your duty to pay proper compensation, adequate compensation, and to acquire and to proceed with the acquisition. They have been all along, they have been trying to disparage the image of the BSF by saying BSF is responsible, BSF is responsible. Again, I would say whether it is illiteracy or purposeness to do that, they know very well what is their role. Court didn't speak anything about the BSF. Court didn't say anything to the central government. Rather, all questions and fingers were raised at the TMC government, where they have been asked to come by April and show what actions they have been taken, how much land has been acquired. Not just that, they have been asked for their action taken report. That what action are they further going to take in regard to the 600 kilometers which is still pending. So that Tausif is saying that somebody doesn't have a protection or a doorbell outside someone else's house, so I will also not put a doorbell on my house. Now, is this an explanation of a government who's a state government here?
Now, just as I mentioned, of course, the border that you are basically talking about, Niladri, I want to bring you in. Purely from the data point of view, it is clear that as far as Bengal is concerned, it is lagging behind. There is no doubt about it. None of us, I think, on this particular panel have a disagreement of the fact that when it comes to Bengal, a large tract is left unattended, which means we have a porous border. Now, Niladri, forget about the petty politics that you want to do or anyone wants to do on this entire issue. The reality is this, that the people of Bengal, which includes you, which includes Tausif, which includes Priyanka, all of them at some point of the time will be affected given the fact that the condition in Bangladesh right now isn't the most conducive. Let's not forget, there is a rise of radicalization, there is a rise of radical elements who have been left free. Lumpen elements in Bangladesh have been left completely free. Niladri, this is no time to play politics.
Shravan, without playing politics, I agree with what you have said. What you have said is absolutely correct. We cannot wash it under the carpet. But taking into consideration the total area left unfenced in the northeastern states and the total area left unfenced in Bengal, it is near about similar. Bengal has 569 kilometers which are to be fenced. Non-fenced area cannot be fenced because of swamp and the marshland and the river is 112 kilometers. Out of the balance 456, 77 kilometers have already been handed over. 229 kilometers is in the process of acquisition and 140 kilometers is left. Now, yes, admittedly there is a delay. But why there is a delay? The delay was with regard to the amount of compensation to be received from the central government, number one. Number two, with regard to the state cabinet approval. Now, we all understand that the process of acquisition, there is a rule of law. There is a procedure to be adopted. It takes delay. And Bengal, we all know, Shravan, Bengal government has a very hands-off policy as far as land acquisition is concerned, because Mamata Banerjee has come to power based on this land acquisition issue. In Assam, as Tausif has said, 61 kilometers. Tripura, it is 67 kilometers. Mizoram, we all know.
So the point here you're drawing, okay, I got your point.
61 and 600.
Okay, I got your point. Okay,
come on. It cannot be fenced.
Okay, so in nutshell, you both are agreeing to the fact that yes, this is an issue. Yes, we need to address the issue. But why just isolate West Bengal here? Why just isolate West Bengal when the situation is similar in the state of Assam, in the state of Mizoram, in the state of Manipur? The question here is, perhaps, Priyanka, you may want to come in. As far as the Union Home Ministry is concerned on this entire issue, they say that this particular matter has been dragged for a very long time simply because of non-compliance. If that is the case, the question that they are asking you, the opposition is asking you, that why is it that you're not perhaps setting an example in other states?
Now, exactly, Shravan, when you said that where 60 kilometers, I mentioned 600 kilometers. Don't you see a difference between 60 to 600? Coming to the second thing of it, the amount of illegal immigrants which are coming to West Bengal. You know, he was talking about Assam and other places. We have seen how the chief ministers there are strictly dealing with the situation, which is completely different in West Bengal. Here the chief minister comes on the streets. Here the chief minister comes on the streets. And she says
we have also seen the detention camps of Assam.
She doesn't
okay,
want
Niladri, there is enough time. There is enough time. You can rebut. You can rebut what Priyanka is saying. Let her complete. Let her complete.
Niladri, listen to me. We haven't witnessed any chief minister of any state sitting on the streets and saying we will not let SIR happen. What is the process of SIR going to do? It is going to struck off the name of illegal immigrants. Where is the difficulty in that? From this only you can understand why they do not want to fence the borders. Because there will be a difficulty in this infiltration. And this TMC government, this government is very reticent on their feelings about this illegal immigrants.
Okay, Tausif, let me take this to Tausif. Tausif, but the chief minister basically makes a comment by saying that till I am here, nobody can throw you out. When she says loves Bangladesh because our language is the same. Let me just remind everyone here that when the fight is about the indigenous people, when the fight is about your own people and not across the border, the question will be asked, whom are you really fighting for? At the end of the day, your own resources are being cut short. At the end of the day, you are losing out on the jobs. At the end of the day, a situation becomes as such when law and order is also out of control. The question here is not about a community that is being targeted. That is nowhere the question. The question here is about those who have come across the border. Should they be given that space?
No, you see, I am in favor, and Mamata Banerjee has repeatedly said that she is in favor of whatever decision the government of India takes so far the foreign policies are concerned. The government of India themselves say that they are inviting all Hindus from Bangladesh and they are offering the citizenship. So what we are objecting is the discrimination, which is because of the Constitution of India, you cannot discriminate on the basis of the religion. Now,
What are you saying?
All of us know.
Now, he being an advocate, he doesn't
do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me, Priyanka, let me finish.
Don't just blabber. Don't
The
just
fact
blabber.
that
You are
we
an
all
advocate and
know
you're
how
supposed to know.
India was
What does the
partitioned.
Amendment Act say?
India was partitioned on majorly into two areas. The Punjab
Don't
was
teach us
partitioned,
history here.
and the Bengalis were partitioned into just like Germany was partitioned into East and West. The Bengal was partitioned. It was a partition of the Bengali-speaking people and the Punjabi-speaking people.
अरे भाई बोलना
Now,
क्या
yes,
चाहते हो?
Bangladesh born out
What
of
are you
the
trying
help
to
of
say?
Indian army. Bangladesh was born because India gave them that freedom. And Bangladesh so far has been a friendly state country to India. Only under Modi regime.
Oh my God, friendly country to
Bangladesh
India
has
by killing the
turned-
Now,
Hindus.
let me just, let me just remind you, Tausif, the friendly country that you're essentially speaking about. Now, can I just quickly remind you, Kaustav Bakshi is also joining us on this broadcast. Kaustav is also joining us. Tausif, just a quick check here. Let me just remind you, you speak about a friendly nation. Have you heard about this group called the ABT?
I didn't get you. Just come.
Tausif, have you heard about ABT?
I don't know why. I don't know.
No, I'm asking a simple question. See, because you seem to have taken that approach that, look here, we need to be large-hearted here. Okay, now I'm just simply asking, are you aware of the fact, are you aware of a group called ABT?
No, today
I'm asking you a simple question, Tausif. Are you aware of
I'm
ABT
giving an answer.
and the fact that in the past how West Bengal has suffered because of one particular group, a terrorist group that has been operating across the border? Are we supposed to simply say that open the borders here, let them come here and create a mayhem?
You cannot deny the fact that Bangladesh gained freedom because of India. And Bangladesh has throughout been under the debt of India. And being very cooperative.
Kaustav, we seem to be having some problem with your audio line.
Government that Bangladesh has become an enemy state. And now that they are an enemy state, we will deal with them the way we should deal with any enemy state. There is no denial of it. I am saying that Indian foreign policy, there's a failure of Indian foreign policy under Modi government. If Mr. Modi would have dealt Bangladesh differently, if Mr. Modi would have had a different approach towards foreign policy, maybe we would be living in a different time.
I don't know whether Kaustav is there. Kaustav, till that Priyanka.
What is the full form of ABT? He knows it well. What is ABT? He knows it well. But because of his love for Bangladesh, he would not say that it is Ansarullah Bangla Team, the terror organization.
In our own interest, we should have good relations with
who in their hearts are not as lovable as Tausif has love for Bangladesh. I am sorry, they do not have that love for the Hindus. That is why Hindus are being killed in Bangladesh. And people like Tausif want to establish friendly relations by saying that, it's no big deal.
What is the logic here? What is the logic here? Now, let me go back to, Priyanka, I want to go back to this point where he said that, the government has this policy of basically minorities there. Hindu minorities are being asked to come to India. What is wrong in it? The question here is that if those minorities are being persecuted there, and you are aware of what is happening, Tausif, day in, day out, reports are essentially emerging from Bangladesh, unless you are basically sympathetic towards Mohammed Yunus, that the reality is this, that the Hindus are being persecuted. In fact, on that you should actually question Priyanka and her government, that their government hasn't done enough for the minorities there. The minorities are not free to come over here. There is a process by which I don't even know whether the minorities would be in a position to come to India right now. The question here is this: is that the logic by saying that illegal infiltrators should be allowed? They should have equal access on our resources. The question is that tomorrow, Tausif, your family members, my family members, Niladri's family members, everyone will be suffering if you start opening up the floodgates and allow illegal infiltrators to take over what is supposed to be yours, what is supposed to be Niladri's.
I completely agree with you, and that is why I want to present you the different perspective. The approach of the BJP government is, as long as you are Hindu, my gates are open. You come, you cross the border legally, illegally, BJP will give you a citizenship.
No,
That is not possible. No,
Tausif,
come on. Rhetoric apart. The question here is that the BJP government should also be. I'm not saying that the BJP government is correct. Question here, Tausif. The best part here is that Niladri also. Tausif, the point here is that the government has not even done enough. The government has not even done enough for the minorities there. We are not openly saying anything about it. The muted response that the government of India has also had when it comes to the minorities on the other side.
Shravan, let us understand.
Tausif, you are making a fool out of yourself whenever you are opening your mouth.
Niladri wants to come in.
Let us understand that if the government wants to give the persecuted minorities in Bangladesh a citizenship in the country, there is a law for it. Let us find out how many people have applied for citizenship in Bengal or in Assam or any other state.
Your data is not updated.
No, wait. Priyanka,
Okay, there's a fair point that Niladri is making. Priyanka, allow Niladri to make his point. Allow Niladri, because from the data point of view, it is a fact. How many have actually applied for this?
And we have seen a minister of the central government giving citizenship certificates for 800 rupees. We have seen that. Shravan, it is a fact that when NRC happened in Assam, 19 lakh Hindus got excluded. It is also a fact that when SIR is happening in Bengal, it is the Hindus who are getting excluded. And therefore, the BJP is now trying to cover its tracks and find a way out. Admittedly, Bengal has less fenced border, admitted. But what about the area which has been fenced? Is it not the responsibility of the BSF to look into it?
Okay, but do you admit? Okay, I'll ask that question. I will take this to Priyanka. I'll take this to Priyanka. But Niladri, as a conscious citizen of this country, I'm sure you would be equally worried. Forget about this comparison. Of course, it's a fair point that set an example by ensuring that full fencing is done in the other states. But the question here is that when the gap has only widened, and the gap is huge when it comes to West Bengal, then would you not agree that the focus should not be on comparison? The focus should be on what should be the immediate steps to ensure that fencing is actually done at breakneck speed.
Shravan, the focus should be on completion. But having said that, please understand that as per not in other states, in Bengal, BSF has a jurisdiction of 50 kilometers from the border, whereas in other states it has 15 kilometers. Now, if the area is not fenced, it is the responsibility of the BSF to give extra force, depute extra forces there.
Okay, one final word, Priyanka.
Right. So, Shravan, there is a word which we use for, like expressing Shana Pagal. So, actually, they are not mad, but they are trying to act Shana Pagal. They know exactly what has to be done. Niladri, you are my friend. You are understanding what I'm trying to say. Come on, Niladri. You are understanding. Niladri, come on. You understand what I'm trying to tell you. Now, yes, of course, you are trying to be Shana. Now, what is happening? They exactly know what they are doing. They exactly know that by not acquiring the land, the fencing will not be done. Again and again, Home Ministry is writing letters to them. They are not giving any reply. Now, when the High Court has come down strictly on them, that within such period of time, tell me how much
Niladri, I'm running out of time, so I want to just give the final word to Priyanka here. Priyanka, make your statement.
That is exactly. See, now he's troubling me because he doesn't want that the truth should come out. That is the reason that the High Court has told them that come with your action taken report. What have you done with the funds which came from the central for this fencing? How many area have you fenced? How much area have you acquired? How much of work is complete and how much is incomplete? Now they have to come with that report. Here everything will come from the court itself then. That's what they have done.
I think the court intervention, the court intervention was certainly required. And I think so we must rise above politics on this entire issue, because this is not about local politics. It is not about the upcoming West Bengal elections and the fight between Trinamool Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party. It is, after all, about the well-being of every citizen in the state of West Bengal. And the fact of the matter is this, that it is about national security. Ladies and gentlemen, this has now become the biggest talking point.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सब जल जीरा मसाला।